Cheyenne Bryant spent years building one of the most recognizable self-help brands on social media. Her clips flooded TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where millions of people shared her emotional speeches about trauma, relationships, healing, self-worth, narcissism, and emotional intelligence. She appeared on major podcasts, radio shows, and interviews where hosts introduced her as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, instantly giving her credibility in front of huge audiences. She became the kind of internet personality people trusted during breakups, family problems, emotional struggles, and relationship drama. But now, that entire image is under a microscope, and what's coming out is causing one of the biggest internet meltdowns in the online self-help world this year. According to critics online, the issue isn't just that people are questioning her credentials anymore. People are now questioning whether audiences were manipulated for years without even realizing it. The controversy exploded after internet users started digging deeper into her educational background and professional licensing. What began as a few random comments quickly turned into a full-scale online investigation. Suddenly, people weren't just consuming her motivational clips anymore. They were searching databases, reviewing old interviews, examining archived websites, and trying to verify exactly who Dr. Cheyenne Bryant really was behind the brand. And once social media detectives start digging, things can spiral fast. The first major issue centered around her doctorate degree. Bryant stated publicly that she earned her doctorate from Argosy University, a school that shut down years ago after massive financial and accreditation problems. Almost immediately, internet critics started questioning why it was so difficult to verify records connected to her degree. Some users claimed they couldn't find dissertation records or certain academic documentation they expected to see connected to someone using the title doctor. To be fair, when schools close down, retrieving records can become extremely complicated. Bryant herself explained that after Argosy University collapsed, many systems became disorganized and difficult to access. According to her, the situation surrounding the school's closure created major problems with retrieving documentation. She insisted repeatedly that she earned her degree legitimately and that the public backlash was based on misinformation and online mob behavior. But the internet was not satisfied with that explanation. Critics online weren't simply asking questions anymore. They started accusing her outright of misleading audiences. Some social media users called her a fraud. Others accused her of building an entire empire using authority she allegedly didn't fully possess. And once those accusations started spreading, reaction channels everywhere jumped on the story. Suddenly, YouTube creators were posting hour-long breakdowns analyzing her interviews. TikTok users stitched together old clips, searching for inconsistencies. Podcast hosts debated whether she had crossed ethical lines by branding herself the way she did. Twitter threads exploded with arguments from both supporters and critics. Within days, the controversy became impossible to ignore. One of the biggest turning points came when Bryant acknowledged publicly that she does not currently hold an active therapy license. That revelation shocked many viewers because countless fans genuinely believed she was a licensed psychologist or therapist for years. The problem, according to critics, was perception. They argued that when audiences hear the title doctor, especially from someone constantly discussing trauma, mental health, relationships, and emotional healing, people naturally assume clinical authority. Critics claimed the average viewer would likely believe she was an actively licensed mental health professional, even if she technically never said those exact words. That's when the debate exploded into something much bigger than paperwork. People began arguing about ethics, influence, responsibility, and the dangerous gray area between life coaching and professional mental health guidance. This conversation matters because social media has completely changed how expertise works. Years ago, if someone wanted mental health advice, they usually went through formal institutions. Therapists, psychologists, counselors, professors, and medical professionals operated within regulated systems. But social media changed everything. Now, anyone with confidence, charisma, emotional storytelling skills, and a viral algorithm can build enormous influence online. That doesn't automatically mean someone is fake, but it does create situations where audiences may not fully understand who they're taking advice from. Critics say that's exactly what happened here. What made Bryant especially influential was her emotional intensity of her content. She didn't just give surface level advice, she spoke with authority. Her delivery was passionate, confident, and deeply personal. She discussed childhood trauma, toxic relationships, emotional abuse, narcissism, abandonment issues, emotional accountability, and healing from pain. Many viewers felt seen by her content in ways traditional therapy never provided. That emotional connection is exactly why this controversy hit so hard. Some fans now feel betrayed. Online comments started appearing everywhere from people saying things like, "I trusted her," or "I thought she was licensed this whole time," or "Why wasn't this clarified earlier?" Others defended her fiercely, arguing that internet critics were intentionally trying to destroy a successful Black woman who built a positive platform helping people emotionally. The debate quickly became tied to larger cultural conversations about race, online accountability, cancel culture, and public scrutiny. Some supporters believe Bryant is facing harsher criticism because of who she is. Others argue that race has nothing to do with it, and that anyone presenting themselves with professional authority should face questions about transparency. Meanwhile, Bryant herself responded with frustration and defiance. Instead of quietly disappearing, she addressed the controversy directly in interviews and social media clips. She insisted she earned her degrees legitimately, she pushed back against what she described as harassment and internet bullying, and she also made it clear that she didn't feel obligated to prove herself to random strangers online. One quote especially went viral because of how blunt it sounded. Bryant basically said she wasn't going to prove anything to anybody. That line spread across social media instantly. Depending on who you ask, that statement either made her look strong or made the controversy even worse. Supporters praised her confidence. Critics said an innocent person would simply provide clear documentation and end the discussion immediately. But the internet rarely works that cleanly. Once public trust starts cracking, people begin re-examining everything. Old interviews resurfaced. Clips from years ago started trending again. Viewers began analyzing the language she used to describe herself. Some critics argued she intentionally blurred lines between therapist, doctor, motivational speaker, and life coach. Others argued audiences simply made assumptions on their own. And honestly, both sides of the debate became incredibly emotional. One side argues that credentials matter deeply, especially in mental health spaces where vulnerable people seek guidance. They believe influencers discussing trauma and emotional healing have a responsibility to be crystal clear about qualifications and limitations. The other side argues that healing wisdom doesn't only come from licenses and institutions. Many supporters say Bryant's content helped them emotionally during difficult moments, regardless of what paperwork exists behind her name. That's what makes this controversy so fascinating. Underneath all the gossip and internet drama is a much bigger question about modern influence itself. What actually gives someone authority online? Is it education, licensing, experience, audience size, communication skills, emotional connection, virality? Social media has blurred those lines completely. Today, some licensed experts barely get attention online, while charismatic influencers build audiences of millions. People often trust whoever speaks with the most confidence, relatability, and emotional intensity. Bryant mastered that formula better than almost anyone. Her clips were everywhere because they felt powerful. She spoke directly to emotional pain in a way that felt raw and validating. Viewers saw strength, intelligence, and confidence. She delivered advice with certainty, and audiences responded emotionally to that energy. But now critics are asking whether charisma replaced transparency. Once those questions started spreading, bigger internet personalities jumped into the conversation too. Reaction podcasts dissected her statements frame by frame. Some creators accused her of manipulating audiences. Others accused critics of launching a witch hunt. TikTok creators posted videos explaining differences between degrees, certifications, licenses, and clinical practice. Suddenly, millions of people who previously knew nothing about mental health credentials were debating psychology regulations online. The situation became even messier because there's technically nuance involved. Someone can hold a doctorate degree without being licensed. Someone can provide coaching services without practicing therapy. Someone can legally call themselves doctor in certain contexts if they earned an academic doctorate. But critics argue that legality isn't the main issue. They believe audience perception is the real problem. When someone consistently discusses psychological trauma and relationship behavior using the title doctor, audiences may naturally assume clinical oversight and professional licensing, even if that assumption technically wasn't stated outright. That distinction matters because vulnerable people often seek emotional guidance online during extremely difficult moments in their lives. That's why this controversy exploded beyond ordinary celebrity gossip. People aren't just debating one influencer, they're debating trust itself. Meanwhile, Bryant's defenders continued standing by her aggressively online. Many supporters argued that critics were obsessing over technicalities while ignoring the positive impacts she had on millions of viewers. Others pointed out that some licensed professionals provide terrible advice too, while unlicensed mentors sometimes genuinely help people emotionally. Critics countered with another argument. Transparency still matters, especially when audiences are emotionally vulnerable. This is where the conversation became deeply personal for many people. Countless viewers had spent years emotionally connected to Bryant's content. Some listened to her advice after divorces. Others followed her during depression, heartbreak, abandonment, or family trauma. For many people, her videos became part of their healing journey. So when questions emerged about her background, it felt bigger than ordinary internet drama. It felt personal. That emotional attachment explains why reactions became so intense online. Some people felt betrayed, others felt protective. Social media algorithms rewarded every second of the chaos. The controversy spread even further after commentators started digging into the larger self-help industry. Suddenly, Bryant wasn't the only person under scrutiny. Audiences began questioning influencers everywhere. TikTok therapists, relationship coaches, dating experts, trauma influencers, motivational speakers. Viewers started asking who these people really are behind their online branding. The truth is, social media often rewards confidence more than accuracy. People who speak with certainty go viral faster than people who speak cautiously. Emotional intensity spreads faster than nuanced explanations. Algorithms prioritize engagements, outrage, emotional reactions, and bold statements. Bryant thrived in that environment because she understood emotional communication incredibly well. Even critics admit she's a compelling speaker. Her delivery style is commanding. She speaks with conviction. She knows how to create viral sound bites. In the modern content world, that combination can build massive influence quickly. But now, some people are wondering whether audiences confused emotional authority with professional authority. Once that confusion entered public conversation, the situation spiraled into a reputation crisis. Brands and platforms became part of the discussion too. Some viewers questioned why major podcasts and media outlets introduced her with professional titles without more scrutiny. Others argued media companies simply trusted publicly available information the same way audiences did. Meanwhile, every new Bryant interview became another viral event. People analyzed her tone, body language, wording, and emotional reactions in microscopic detail. Supporters saw strength and resilience. Critics saw defensiveness and avoidance. Unfortunately, internet controversies rarely leave room for middle ground. Everything becomes polarized. You're either innocent or guilty, victim or fraud, truthful or deceptive. But real life is usually far more complicated than internet narratives. One thing many people agree on, though, is that this controversy permanently changed how audiences view influencer expertise online. People are now more skeptical. Viewers are asking more questions. Creators discussing mental health are facing increased pressure to clarify credentials transparently. At the same time, Bryant's fan base remains surprisingly loyal despite the backlash. Many supporters argued that regardless of paperwork controversies, her messages still helped people emotionally. They believe critics became obsessed with tearing her down instead of acknowledging the positive impact her content had on viewers. Others say this entire scandal reveals society's complicated relationship with authority. People want emotional guidance, inspiration, and healing, but they also want professional legitimacy behind those messages. And when those two things become blurry, trust starts breaking apart. Some observers believe Bryant could eventually recover from this controversy if she provides clearer explanations and reframes her public image more transparently. Others think the damage is already permanent because once audiences question credibility, rebuilding trust becomes extremely difficult, especially online. The internet never forgets. Every clip, interview, statement, and contradiction gets archived forever. Once a controversy becomes meme-worthy, it spreads far beyond the original facts. That's exactly what happened here. The story transformed from credential questions into viral internet entertainment. Reaction channels monetized it, podcasts debated it, TikTok creators dramatized it, Twitter users joked about it. Millions of people who had never even heard of Cheyenne Bryant suddenly knew her name because controversy travels faster than positivity online. But behind the memes and gossip is a serious reality. Mental health influence carries enormous responsibility. People searching for healing are often vulnerable emotionally. They may trust creators deeply during painful moments. That's why transparency matters so much in spaces involving trauma, relationships, emotional abuse, depression, and self-worth. Critics argue audiences deserve complete clarity about who is offering that guidance. Supporters argue emotional wisdom shouldn't be dismissed simply because someone lacks traditional institutional approval. That debate probably isn't ending anytime soon because social media keeps creating more influencers operating in that gray area between motivation, coaching, therapy, spirituality, and psychology. Cheyenne Bryant just became the latest major figure caught in the middle of that collision. Depending on how this story evolves, it could become a defining moment for influencer accountability moving forward. Right now, public opinion remains split. Some viewers still love her content and believe the backlash is exaggerated. Others say they can never trust her again. Some believe she was unfairly targeted. Others believe this controversy exposed deeper problems in influencer culture itself. But no matter where people stand, one thing is undeniable. This situation completely changed the conversation around online mental health influencers. People are now asking harder questions. Who are these creators, really? What qualifications do they have? What responsibilities come with emotional influence? And how much transparency should audiences expect from people giving life-changing advice online? Those questions extend far beyond one person. They reflect the entire modern internet era. That's why this controversy became so massive. It wasn't just about Cheyenne Bryant anymore. It became about trust, influence, expertise, branding, perception, emotional vulnerability, and the blurry line between inspiration and professional authority in the age of viral content. At the center of all this remains Cheyenne Bryant herself, a woman who built a massive platform helping people emotionally, only to find herself trapped inside one of the internet's most explosive credibility debates. Whether she ultimately clears her name or whether this permanently damages her public image remains uncertain. But one thing is absolutely clear. The internet is no longer simply listening to motivational speeches. Now, people want receipts. In today's online world, perception can build an empire overnight, but doubt can destroy trust just as quickly. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.